Good day, everyone. Welcome to the Saturday Morning Marketing Smarties Show. Whether it's morning or not, it's inconsequential because if you're watching it, it doesn't matter what time it is. You're watching the show. But I appreciate it from wherever you are. The Saturday Morning Marketing Smarties Show developed its name from me broadcasting in Orange County in Southern California. And for the most part, wherever I was, whoever I was talking to on the show, it was Saturday morning for another hour before it became not even Saturday morning where we were broadcasting from. So that's how we got the name of the show. But obviously, when you take the step from going Southern California to a global position, that kind of changes things. So thank you for allowing us to keep the name, and we're having fun with it. And finally, people are able to remember it. Remember when we first started and people were trying to figure out, what is that show called? Saturday Marketing Smart Morning? And nobody could get it right. And that was kind of a joke in itself. But anyway, thank you for watching the show for going on 2 years now. Some of you have been with us that long. And of course, my two primary co-hosts have been there almost that entire time, and so we're going to introduce them now. Let's start off with Karen V. Chin because she has her microphone on and it's not muted. So
sorry.
That's all right. Karen, introduce yourself and say a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, I was actually saying hi to Barbara, Michael, and Loanne. So I was actually doing a little bit of work here. Yeah, Hi, Luann. I got distracted here. Hi, it's Saturday. I'm out here in the San Francisco Bay Area. I am a marketing consultant, and I am excited today because we're going to continue our discussion on Google events that both Molly and myself have attended in the last month or so. So that's what's all about today, right, Roland?
Yeah, and I just kicked back and relaxed all week because I figured you guys had the subjects covered. So we'll just wing it from there. And also we want to introduce Molly Youngblood Geiger, my other standard co-host of the show. And Molly, want to say hi and tell us about yourself?
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Molly Youngblood Geiger, and I am located in Jacksonville, Florida. The name of my agency is Design Right For You, and participate with Google on several different platforms, and excited to discuss a recent trip out there about a month ago now, and just share some insights on what it was like to visit Google.
Okay, very cool. Very, very cool. And so I'll be interested in hearing some of this stuff too. It's always interesting to find out more about Google itself because they have so much influence and so much dominant positioning on internet affairs that it's good to know who we're dealing with and who's in control and what influences there are. So before we move on, we cannot forget Mr. Bill Graham, our comment man, and he's much more than that, but I won't try to describe his position until we get it all settled down. But he's dealing directly with and monitoring the comment stream regarding the event, the live event today, and I really appreciate his work. Bill, say hi, please.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Bill Graham. My website is billdoesbelize.com, and I provide unbiased information for people who want to make a move to Belize, the unbelievable truth, I call it. And I'm excited to hear about what the ladies did at Google. So let's carry on with that.
Sounds good. I want to interject something just before we move into that. We'll ask Molly to start us off with some stuff. But before we go on to what the show is basically all about today, you know me, I have to comment on my inbox. And something that I discovered commonly is that the people with their emails, when they send you an email, they're not really exactly honest. And what I mean by that is that they come up with subject lines that are supposed to entice you to open the email, right? I mean, that's the whole idea. It's like, how do you write a great subject line to get people to open your email? Well, I have a little different theory myself. Is like, I want people to not just be a one-off open the email for the first time, I want them to get used to the subject that we cover with the Smarty Show and me as a person and as a marketer and just in general. And then when they see my email from Roland, I want them to be able to say, oh, I'm going to at least save this and open it later, or I'm going to open it now. I want them to open it because it is from me, not because my subject line is so dynamic. So I'm getting these subject lines, and here's one that came to me today. I won't mention who it's from because it is a well-known marketer. She's coming on strong right now. She's developing a lot of followers, and I say she, that's as distinct as I'll get. But here goes. The opening subject line is, I want to support you, Roland. Now, mind you, she doesn't know who the hell I am. I mean, I'm just a subscriber on a list that she probably hasn't checked since she established the list. Somebody's managing for her, or maybe she's managing for it herself. But she did not send me specifically an email. She sent it to a group. She sent it to a circle or a group or a mailing list. And the opening subject line is, I want to support you. And then the Roland is automatically interjected in there. Now, the idea is, it looks like it's very personal. But is it? Is it sincere and is it authentic and is it genuine? And I say, no, it is not. And so it's like, I want to support you, Roland. Well, what is it that she's really trying to say in her message? That's her opening subject line. What is it in her message? It ends up, and I'll cut it really short. It ends up that she's trying to entice me in a text sales letter to opt in on a program that costs $200. So it's like, I want to support you, Roland, really means I want to sell you something, Roland. Now, if you want to sell somebody something, be honest about it and say, I've got an offer that you're going to want to consider. Or whatever it is that you want to promote, let the people know in the subject line, here's something that you might be interested in. Not, I want to support you, Roland. To me, that's an outright blatant lie, except for the fact that if someone says this in the subject line, it very well might be that she wants to support people in general. However, when you read the rest of the letter, it does not convey that. It's not genuine. It's not authentic. It's a lie. So people, when you're doing your email lists and formulating that stuff, try to figure out exactly what the message that you want to convey and be genuine, be authentic, and be honest. Bill has something to share. Andrew Hatchett, marketers are politicians without a party. Amen, brother. And thank you very much, Andrew. It's just that the concept of marketing and the opening subject lines and the offers made in emails.
So I was gonna ask you, Roland. So how is this something that you normally subscribe to?
I did subscribe to it, and I'll tell you why. Because I wanted to find out what her marketing strategy was.
Okay, so is she an internet marketer, an online marketer, or what kind of marketer is she?
Online marketing, but email marketing is part of her strategy.
And who is this? And who was this person again?
I was declining to say. Shall I actually? I mean, I don't have too much trouble announcing who it was, but I don't think it's really the nicest thing for me to do. I tend to be an I don't care, as Bill Graham was pointing out before the show, and I'm sure that I could step on toes. I'm sure that I piss people off, and I'm blatant about this type of stuff. So I wouldn't want it to convey to the person in question that I think she's a dirty, rotten scoundrel. But I do think that her email campaign lies. I think it's an untrue stream. And so what is the next comment, Bill? Let's see. Oh, we lost Karen. Let's see. I'm not getting an effective share.
I just lost you. I'm back again.
Oh, here we go. Michael Thomas.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's always clickbait in my eyes, Roland. Absolutely. And you know, the thing is, when we're considering an email list, what we are basically doing is trying to offer people something of value. Am I correct? We want to offer people something of value, and we want to be of value to people. And if we are of value, then from there it's like, let's get people to recognize our value. Let's not spam people. Let's not lie to people and trick them into buying or try to lure them with something that's not solidly of value, but just talk them into it and sell it anyway. We're not doing that here. We're just basically saying we want to educate people as to what it is that we do that they can use and benefit from. Now that's honest marketing. And however you want to do that, fine, but don't lie to me and say, I want to support you, Roland. It's because I don't believe it for a second.
So the key now is you've got this message. Are you going to unsubscribe?
No, I want to bitch about it next week too. So she's going to send me something else, and I'm going to bring it up. And if she keeps sending me the same thing, I very well might speak her name next week or the one after that. But anyway, that's me, deflating, diffusing, decompressing a bit, and I had fun doing it. So thank you very much. And now we're going to move on to Molly, unless there's anything that you want to say. I do want to make mention of the fact that in the comment stream, and I've tried to get everybody over to Unified Chat because it is basically the best comment system that we've found. And the reason I bring this up is that we're not going to stick to Unified Chat, but we are going to use it as a demonstration of some very, very good attributes that we are going to incorporate in something that I want to design for WordPress Hangouts. And we're going to be designing a plugin that adds the comments and some event functionality to a Hangout in WordPress. So that's why we use it, and that's why we're doing it. And if you have comments, go ahead and comment away about this is good, that is good, that's bad. I wish it did this, I wish it did that. And we'll be, well, believe me, I'm reading all your comments, and they're very, very helpful. And how we design this plugin will be based on the feedback that we're getting. So comment away, everybody. And I want to talk about who's commenting in just a second. But Bill has another one. Andrew Hatchett. Oh, this is the same one. Marketers are politicians without a party. Okay. I really dig that. People in the comment stream, we have Lowland Fulsang, Michael Thomas, Alana Birmingham. Wasn't sure she was going to make it, but I'm glad you're here. And of course, Andrew's there. Barbara Quick. There's Michael Thomas again. Lowland Fulsang. I think I've covered everybody. And thank you very much for showing up. A lot of my favorite peeps are out there joining in, and I really appreciate you commenting and being with us today. So anyway, without me jabbering on anymore, I've killed about the first quarter of an hour. Let's go to Molly and see what she has to share about her Google experiences. I think that she might have some photos and some various information to share. Go ahead, Molly.
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Roland. Yeah, I just wanted to say that going out to Google was an experience of a lifetime. It was something I never in a million years thought would happen. I quickly want to share why I went to Google. So I'm a part of a program that Google offers called the Top Contributor Program. And quickly what that is, it's a program that Google offers to users who help other users within the different product forms that Google offers. Mine in particular is Hangouts. Excuse me, I'm kind of getting over a little cold. Mine is in Hangouts. And so essentially the way you participate in these forums is if you're in the product forum and you see a question that you may have an answer to, you just get out there and answer questions. After a period of time, if the community manager sees that you're really making an effort, they will promote you to something known as a rising star. And then you get a little badge, little rising star badge that they add to your profile within that forum. And then if you continue to help help users in the different product forms, and this is across the board, Gmail, Maps, AdWords, there's several different product forms. Roland, you had something really quick?
Yeah, I wanted to mention, I don't think I mentioned William Rock, but I heard somebody saying something about him earlier. Is William watching? And is he out there commenting? Because if he is, I want to make sure that we acknowledge him, because he indeed is another TC or top contributor. And so I want to make sure that he's recognized there.
Absolutely, absolutely. I got to meet William actually when I was out there, so which was pretty cool because we've kind of been working with each other for a couple years, specifically with AdWords Google grants, which we'll touch upon on a different show. But going out there was definitely a lifetime experience. Learned a lot about what they're working on. But going back to the program itself, so just for me personally, it was one of my personal goals to become a top contributor before I went out there. And luckily, about 3 weeks prior to my invitation, because the event we attended was known as a meetup. So it's a biannual event that they have every 2 years. And then the next year is a summit. So the difference between a meetup and a summit is a meetup is where the community manager will invite rising stars and top contributors, versus a summit, which is just top contributors. And they literally fly in top contributors from all over the world. They pay for everything. They pay for the flight, they pay for the hotel, all the food, everything's all included. And so it was through going through this program that I realized the importance of top contributors, because they really do help other users who have legitimate questions about different products and how they work or how they can solve problems for them. And so one of the things that I would take away from my trip to Google is the fact that Google really does want users to have a user-friendly experience. And even myself, I'm in the tech field. I'm a website designer, developer. I rely on these tools practically every day to do my job, such as Search Console, Gmail, Google Drive. There's all different types of tools that I use personally every day, where I've encountered my own problems. In fact, recently I encountered a problem with Gmail where I was trying to configure a Gmail alias, and I've done this dozens of times, and I couldn't get it to work. And so I have a post in the Gmail forum right now open to figure out what's going on, because I actually had that a tech person besides myself, so a third-party person, go into their Gmail and try and set the alias, and I'm like, oh, I'm running into the same error. So it's when users have situations like that where they're getting an error, they can't get something to work, or they can't get something figured out, that's where these product forums are so important, because that is the main way that a user is going to get help. And what I really like about the Top Contributor program is the fact that Google gives us all this stuff for free. Gmail, apps for work, Google Drive, Doc Sheets, Slides, Forms, all these different tools. And I think just for myself to be able to say, hey, I was able to help somebody at the end of the day solve a problem or get an issue resolved, it makes me feel good as a person, just to know that I'm out there trying to help other users. But one of the things I wanted to quickly touch upon is that there is also another way that users can get help via Twitter. It's a program called the Help on Social. So there was a statistic published during my meetup where it actually showed how many users reach out to social media in order to get help, because by the time they get to social media, they're already frustrated. They're already upset. They're like, why can't I figure this out? So they're already frustrated because they couldn't figure it out. So the Help on Social platform is on Twitter. I just want to make you aware, if you do have questions and you're not comfortable posting it in the forum, or you're not sure which forum to post it, you can reach out to Help on Social on Twitter, where there are top contributors like myself out there answering questions on a variety of different products. But going into that, I wanted to share, if I can do this successfully, because it's been a while since I've done a screen share, a few of the pictures. We were told that as long as the pictures were taken in a public area, that it was okay. We all did have to sign an NDA, not only to protect information that was shared during the event, but also to release ourselves from having our pictures taken. So one of the things that they do at the end of the meetup or the summit is all the TCs and rising stars, they all gather together and we take a group picture, which I thought was kind of neat. Kind of like reminds me of being back in school, where, at the end of the year you get your picture taken. So, but let me see if I can do a screen share real quick.
Can I interrupt you while you're doing that, Molly?
Yeah,
I just wanted to
absolutely
highlight a comment from William Rock. William is here, and he's posted a link. Now, the links that we're bringing into the comments aren't live, so you can find them in the chat, and he's posted several links that people might be interested in. So if you're watching in replay later, go to the unified chat and you'll find several of those links. Something else I wanted to mention, if nobody minds, and I'm sure they won't, is that a lot of people that are top contributors but don't have the title are people like Andrew Hatchett, who's with us here today. And I'd like to acknowledge Andrew and his user-to-user community. Because
Andrew actually is a top contributor.
Okay, I wasn't aware of that, but if he isn't, he certainly should be.
And he actually was with William and with Molly. So just to clarify.
Okay, sorry about that, Andrew. But yes, Andrew and his community is another great place to get help and information, and that's all I have to say on that.
Andrew says that he was in the picture in the back of the entire thing, and let's see, back in black. So yeah, that's cool. Anyway, I think I actually reviewed that photo and I saw him in the picture there. So Andrew, excuse me for forgetting that you were there too. I just kind of like ran over you as we were mentioning the people in the comment stream, and then I realized that I had missed William, so that put him in the spotlight for a second. But Andrew Hatchett, indeed, you are one of the top contributors and one of the primary followers of me, myself, and watching everything that you post in the community, which definitely helps a lot of people, and definitely I'm one of those people. So thank you very much. Did we lose Molly, or is she still around to continue on with what she was delivering there?
I'm right here. I was actually just trying to figure out how to screen share. Like I said, it's been a while. I'm not sure when my camera's turned off. There we go. Sorry about that. But yeah, I mean, adding to what everybody's saying, being a top contributor is an awesome experience. I highly recommend it. They are actually looking to expand the program because there are, I mean, compared to the number of top contributors there are, I believe there's 600 English-speaking top contributors compared to the entire world's population of Google users, which, I mean, there are a lot of Google users. There's a very wide margin of people who may not be getting their questions answered because of the fact that there's so many questions and there's only X number of people out there answering questions. So that was something that I took away from the event, that if you're interested in becoming a top contributor, definitely check out the program. It's definitely well worth it. It's a very rewarding experience. And one of the things that I really like about the program is the fact that even once you become a top contributor, you will always be known as a top contributor, even after you go on to your next life. So I think out of respect to that individual, that's a very high honor that Google bestows upon that person, because they actually help with that person's legacy. Meaning, you know, even when your time on the face of the earth is over and you move on to your next life, you still have that honor of being known as a Google top contributor. And I think for me, that is like one of the highest honors that somebody can achieve, is the fact that somebody thought so much of you, or Google thought so much of you and the assistance that you lent to other people, that they're gonna give you that designation, you know, for the rest of your life. So
I like this conversation greatly, because one of the premises of this show has been to give first and to always give. And what attracted me to Molly and Karen in the first place was the fact that this is the type of people that they are. And they give and they help people and they volunteer and they do a lot of this stuff without trying to monetize or talk me into something or influence me specifically on a subject that they affiliate with and want to sell me or something to make a nickel. it did not happen. And that was the beginning of the relationships that started this show. And it was right in line with my primary philosophy. Bill has something to share. Michael Thomas, if I may add, a compliment here to the online service is really, your online service is really delivering a great and impressive quality here today. Dear Molly, more than usual. Yep, I agree. And I thank you very much, Michael, for the comment. You've been around for months and months. Actually, he's been around for almost 2 years, along with the rest of us. And you've been there religiously commenting and giving your feedback, and it's really, really valued that you're there. So thank you for being around so long and being of value to us. So anyway, how we doing, Molly? You want to go back around? It looks like you may be trying to share something again, but she's having a bit of a malfunction. We might be able to reroute that, and you can send me the link, and I might be able to share for you. But in as much as we're having these difficulties, it might be time to move on over to Karen and let her take over for a bit and share some of the stuff that you wanted to share.
Yeah, so I think last week we talked, seems like ages ago, but last week we talked about the Local Guide Summit. And it was a 2-day summit. And as Molly was saying, for local guides, it's part of Google Maps, and everyone has the power to be a local guide, whether you sign up or not sign up. As long as you put a review or upload photos onto Google Maps, you're technically a local guide. And local guides in general are literally now all over the world, and they are basically boots on the ground for Google now to put businesses on the map in terms of not just streets by, but actually what's inside businesses, what's inside places where you take pictures, you know, food, of menus, of salons, of toy stores, you know, anything that you would want to put up on Google, you're able to do. So last week we talked about Local Guide Summit. This week we're going to talk about how I had the opportunity to get invited to the October 4th Google hardware event, which at the time, and Roland could start the Google Photos album, is I did not know anything about this event when I got invited. It was very cryptic. All I got was, we know that you're a Google fan and that you love Google, Karen, and if you're available on October 4th, we would like to invite you to an event. If you want to come to this event, please you know, provide us with an email address and we'll send you more details. So I took the bait. I sent them my information. And lo and behold, they said, okay, we got your information, more details will be followed. I did not realize when going to the event itself or know anything about this event until I was, you know, online and just kept seeing, you know, every day as the buildup happened. And basically we were invited like a week and a half before the actual event, what the event was about. And do I have sound? Can you hear me?
Yes,
Okay.
You're coming off fine.
Okay, so the event itself, didn't know anything about it, and when we did finally get that information, it was literally 2 days before the actual event, which was like, I think on a Sunday night, that said, okay, here is the event, and here is the location, and be here at this time. And that was pretty much it. So it was very cryptic in terms of how they sent the information, and did not know anything about what I was getting myself into. But when we got there, and Roland, if you can start the album, it was in San Francisco, and I did not realize that it was such a small, intimate event, because I think in the room itself, there probably was no more than maybe 150 to 200 people in this room. And in this room, it was basically media, whether it was traditional media, online media, bloggers, influencers, some Google fans, but it was really a very small audience to basically see what Google was launching, which at the time, it truly is an epic event, because this is the first time Google has ever made products for themselves branded by Google. So that's why you see the hashtag going around now on the online and on the web, and then on social media, the hashtag made by Google. So Roland, as you kind of start scrolling.
I wanted to interject also that maybe we should ask Andrew Hadgett to share. He says he's seeing something different than we do, and he made the comment of pole dancers in the audience there. So I don't know what you. Just a joke. Okay, so
so as we're going, so what how we got invited. So of the Google fans, or people who love Google, there were only about 45 people who got invited to that, in terms of with the media that was invited to it. So again, very small. And of that, there were 5 local guides, and we were chosen because we were, of course, local in the San Francisco area. So we started off the day with one of my local guides is Kimberly Ann Graham. And we started off at Starbucks, and we actually did a YouTube live event. So Roland, we kind of like tried to figure out how to do Hangouts on air, but couldn't figure out how to do that the night before. So we ended up doing a YouTube live event. And as you keep going down, we had this really kind of cool area at the Starbucks, which is literally, it was like a block away from the event itself, which was within Ghirardelli Square in San Francisco. Starbucks has this really interesting kind of layout where we kind of felt like we had our own little media coverage there, with the backdrop with the world map. So we kind of were laughing at that. We did not set this up. This is all part of Starbucks. So the Starbucks on Beach Street, if you ever go down there in San Francisco, is a great place to actually do anything that you wanted to do on live, whether it's YouTube Live or Facebook Live or Instagram stories. You could basically do this here. So here we got Kimberly setting up all her camera equipment. Keep going. And so now we are here talking on camera live. You can see me, I'm the one holding the camera, taking a picture. We are live, and we're talking about what we think is the event going to be like that day, and what we think we're going to see. So we were just gabbing for about 20 minutes. And as you can tell, there's all these people behind, in front of us, buying and eating in front of Starbucks, which was kind of funny. There were a couple of moments where people were kind of staring at us like, why are you there and why are you talking? But they kept really quiet. So you can actually do live events at public places, and people are pretty, at least, discreet and helpful by not getting into your space. So we're now got out of the coffee shop, and we're now kind of standing in line. And what Google had was really cool was they had this one lady here basically offering hot coffee service as we're standing in line. So I don't know if you've ever had hot coffee service standing in line while waiting for something. I've done it at Apple events where you stand in line to get the latest product that Apple launches. They're always serving beverages. So here was this lady kind of going up and down the line serving coffee. Let's keep going. As we get closer, we can show proof that we're standing in line. We've got our badges now to kind of go in to the building, and of course, they offer a free Wi-Fi, so everyone took up the chance there. And so again, I've never been to a live press media product launch before, so this is kind of what my interpretation or my impressions are. Keep going. As we're walking down. Keep going. And we have here the actual walking into the room, and this is pretty much what we kind of saw as we walked in. You had the big screen, so I don't know if if anyone in the audience actually watched the event live, live stream event for the October 4th event, but this is pretty much was the room itself. And as you see all those people with their heads down, that's pretty much the media, the bloggers, the influencers, everyone like working really hard right now, getting their message across to their audiences. And so here is, as you will see later, you don't have to click on the link at this moment, Roland, but there's a 3-minute video talking about what the room is like, and in terms of what was offered in terms of food, and kind of getting the feel of the lay of the land and what the room was like inside. So we were kind of eating breakfast, mixing and mingling, and Bill mentioned last week, very excited, we all got Google water, which was the swag for the week for this event. And it's basically a kind of a plexiglass, you know, water. I mean, it was kind of funny because they were handing these out. So here's my water. Keep going.
Trying.
So again, I'm sitting in the audience and I was completely shocked because again, I had no idea what I was getting myself into. But as I was looking around, I was looking at people's badges and their names. It was like people from like Vanity Fair, people from the Wall Street Journal, people from The Verge, people from TechCrunch, you know, all these media people, plus the bloggers that you saw, where you're going, wow, who are these people? And you're just like, again, shocked by, this is again my stupid expression, but like, wow, I'm amazed by how I got invited to this. Keep going. And so here we are, we're just kind of waiting for our seats, and they were very well in terms of the Google people giving an instruction and telling us, you know, 5 minutes, 15 minutes, 10 minutes, 5 minutes, please get into your seats because we're going to go live. So we're just kind of sitting and waiting. And the launch begins, and then of course you got to start a show when you're talking about, you know, Silicon Valley. Of course you got to talk about the HBO show Silicon Valley itself. So if anyone has not seen the show, it's a riot. It's very true to life. I mean, the people that are on the show, the characters themselves, really are people that I actually know. I don't know how they do it, but the scripts, the dialogue, the behind the scenes in terms of kind of like what they have in their you know, sets, it's very, very much what's like being in Silicon Valley. So we start off with Dinesh, and he's talking. Keep going. And then we get to see Sundar. So I've never met Sundar in my life. I mean, this is as close as I got to Sundar. But he is the head of Google now, and he is the one who's kicking off the launch. And again, I'm just shocked by the fact that this is really, really big. This is really, really important. Keep going. So we're basically talking about 5 products that day, and the first one is Pixel. So the slides that we're going to go through right now are talking about, you know, of course, the 5-inch and 5.5-inch screen, and this is really going head-to-head with the Apple iPhone 7. And given now that Samsung Galaxy Note 7 is basically now taken off the market and is now being totally like discontinued and, you know, recalled, Google has a really excellent chance now of really grabbing onto this market. So if you're not wanting an Apple product, here's your chance to gain a Pixel, because Nexus phones are now going to be made. Here are more slides talking about how great in terms of the camera itself, and that it's scoring an 89, and it's scoring that it can be, you can get battery life up to 7 hours and 15 minutes. And it talks about all the different colors that it comes in, and it talks about, again, the price. So again, if you are watching the live stream, you would hear about it. The very popular phone that is the one in the middle is called Really Blue, and it is truly really blue. People were, you know, all enamored by when we were doing going up to the live demos about the colors. The next one with it is the cool thing about the Pixel is that it's going to have built-in Google Assistant with it, which also helps with Google Home, which we'll talk later. But the fact is the Pixel is also used with the Daydream View, which is the virtual reality headset. So I've never had an experience with virtual reality before, and so you'll see later my experience. But the virtual reality headset itself, it's soft, it's made out of fabric, and it's very lightweight to wear. And you basically insert the Pixel into the phone so that you can have the experience. And coming later at the end of the year, there will be other products, other phone companies or smartphones where they're partnering with they will have their own version of the Pixel that, you know, in case you don't want to buy Pixel, you can buy other types of other smartphones that are compatible to this. So they come in, of course, the three colors: crimson, the stone, and the slated gray that's in the middle. It's for $79 at this time in the US, and if you purchase a Pixel, you will actually get a free a Daydream View headset. I guess depending on how long their supply lasts. So if this is really going to help you, you know, take the step in buying a Pixel, you get the headset for free. Keep going. Then, of course, we talk about Chromecast Ultra, which is the Wi-Fi. Keep going. Keep going, Roland.
Trying.
Okay. So Google Home, this is an interesting one. So they're trying to compete with the Amazon product Echo. And it's one of these really cool things that it's got a Google Assistant, and you basically talk to it. So you just say, you call it Google instead of you know, Apple's version of Siri. But this device basically can interconnect with all your devices in your house, including you know, Nest, and there's also turning on, turning off your lights if you're using Philips light bulbs. And so you can play music off of it, you know, of course, ask questions to it. It's a really interesting product. And so it comes in a myriad of 6 colors. You can see there, those are all the companies that are partnering with it to give home, you know, better access. So whether you have a Sony flat screen or Toshiba flat screen or an LG flat screen, here's your chance. It's also connected with Harman Kardon, I guess the speaker company, and Vizio. The price of that is $129, but you can actually, if you buy more than 3, they have actually, you can buy it in bulk, and it comes in a myriad of colors. It's pretty cute too when you see it in terms of its size. It's not very big, and you can place them all throughout your house. So that you can, you know, get kind of music in all over your house if you wanted to, for example. You gonna say something, Roland?
From Bill. Michael Thomas is saying, yes, ma'am, I'm loving all your Facebook shares for this, Karen, and eventually hope you share some of this vids, whoops, on Google Plus. They're fantastic, by the way. So very good comment from Michael. And Richard Clarkson. Hi, Richard. How you doing, man? Miss you, guy. I like the blue phone, but not with the white face on it. Okay, well.
Richard is obsessed with the white face, but Richard, just turn the phone over. It's blue. Trust me. So keep going. Okay.
By the way, a lot of times I'm trying to, but sometimes the arrows button doesn't work, and it's really hard for me to grab the little square button and scroll the way people do with the regular mouse, because I don't have a regular mouse. So
yeah, that's okay.
It's okay. Due to the technical difficulties. So who's this?
So this is basically, if you're a Google developer, they wanted to make sure that for the developers out there, here's the link to get to know what they need to know in order to build for these new products. You know, what apps and what things that you need to know about in terms of the 5 products that Google has launched.
Got it.
So, you know, we're getting towards the end, and of course then they show the screen where, you know, the picture of the 5 products. So you got the Chromecast Ultra, the Home, the Pixel, and the Daydream View. And as we keep going, this is a funny shot because Kimberly, as soon as this thing was over, put her order in to purchase. So you can see how excited she was. So she purchased, the only thing that you could purchase that day was basically the home, Google Home, and the phone, and I think she got the Chrome Ultra too at this time. So kind of this is a purchase. So the items are not inexpensive. They're actually pretty pricey. And as we're waiting, this is as we were talking last week, Google does everything really well. And I know you're looking at why are you taking a picture of porta potties, but you've got to see what these porta potties were, because these were outside of the event center. And oops.
Whoops.
Keep going.
Oh, you're done with the porta potties?
Yeah, keep going.
Okay.
So this is what's inside the porta potty.
No way.
Yeah, so we were laughing because here you have this kind of like, Formica countertop but simulated wood with this kind of ceramic sink, and with faucet, with all of these toiletries. And if you were sitting down, I didn't want to show you how we were sitting, but if you were sitting down, you had a flat screen going on so that you would not miss any of the coverage that was happening at the event.
Almost like a small house. Yeah,
yeah, it's like a tiny house, right? It was really wild.
The essentials to make it through the day.
Yeah, so this was kind of in the women's restroom, and it had women hygiene products, it had breath mints, it had lotions, it had like bobby pins, it had safety clips, it had all kinds of weird things in there that you just would never think of, but yet would appreciate if something was happening to you at that moment. You pretty much were taken care of, in this porta potty.
So this was not discriminately. It was not a men's room or a women's room. It was generic porta potty.
Yeah, it was generic porta potty. So that's why you kind of have the two. But the thing about it too is that within Google itself, even if you go into Google offices, they're really kind of quite generous of what's in their restrooms. That is one thing that really impresses me about Google is the restrooms, because I've never experienced anything like this in my life. I kind of gone through, like, okay, what can really impress me? That impresses me about what's in the restrooms at Google. So
okay, so we can announce it officially. The thing that Karen took away from these events is that Google has really dynamic restrooms.
Oh, it's first class. It's you can probably live in that restroom because of what they had in that place.
Let's see what Bill has to offer here. Just Alana Birmingham. Is the Pixel phone available? I think that from what Karen says, the answer is yes, correct?
Yes, you can actually, at the time, this is October 4th, you could actually purchase the phone in the US. They were launching it, I think, in India on October 13th. I think in parts of Europe at this moment. I think they're starting to sell it. I know in Australia they were selling it, and actually people are now starting to receive it in the mail. So if you take a look at your the Pixel and in your area just to see where it's available, I'm pretty much sure that it's definitely available in the UK at this moment.
Another comment from Bill. Lola and Full saying, love voice activation, but sometimes all three of my devices respond at once.
You don't know which one to go to, right, Loan?
Okay, on with the tour.
Okay, so we're kind of, the porta potties, we're kind of going up the stairs. So up the stairs was basically where all the live demos were at. So here is a picture of the 4 of the 5 local guides that were invited. So you can see I'm on top. You have Ivan, and then Kimberly, and then 2 at the bottom, on the staircase. And here's a picture of what they actually look like. So they had it all set up where you could actually, the media could take pictures of the products. They had them all differently staged for you. So here was one of them. And as you could tell, that middle phone, it is really blue. And yes, Richard, it is white in the front, at least for the blue. Here is the gray version of the phone. So you have it with the what the Daydream view is. The cool thing about the Pixel also too is that if you buy a Pixel, you will have unlimited storage for it. So, you know, one of the pet peeves about having phones is that there's not enough storage on a phone for all your photos and your videos. With owning a Pixel, you can have that forever in terms of as long as you own that phone, you have unlimited storage.
So it takes the actual Google limit of 15 gigs and gives you unlimited space?
Basically, it's all in the cloud, in the Google Cloud. So that's one of the cool things. The only negative about this phone is that it is not waterproof. Where the iPhone 7, I think the Samsungs they were all waterproof. At this level, at this price, this phone is not yet waterproof. So here are more pictures again of the layouts in terms of up close of what each of the devices. And as you can tell, the home, it comes in different colors. I think it comes in 6 different colors, 3 with fabric and 3 that are metallic, which is the bottom part. So it's really small in terms of the home device. So it's very discreet. It's not obnoxious. Kind of cute looking when you look at it. It's kind of a Zen Japanese style to it. So here we are.
It is.
So this is the Daydream View VR headset experience. So again, if you click on the video, not at this moment, but you'll see what that experience is about. Keep going. So kind of here's the room, a little area that where we're at. This is the only area that you had to sign up for and make an appointment to get that experience. And the people that were kind of showing it were Googlers, and it was really cool because they were all really proud of their product because these were the actual people who actually were part of the team. And part of the interview that I had with them was that the team itself for the Daydream View was only maybe a couple hundred people at most, and they were all over the world. So you actually, when you got your first demonstration, it was actually from a Google engineer who was part of the team. Keep going. So again, here's kind of how you've got this hand control, so that you can experience the virtual reality. And there's, you see the Pixel. And so kind of how it works is that you insert the handset where you see that right there. There's kind of the pieces, and you pick up the device, and then you kind of close it as you keep going. And you fold it, and that's kind of how you view the virtual reality. So for the part of the demo, they had 3 things that you could see. One was visiting a natural history museum, and they had moving dinosaurs, which was kind of creepy because they would like jump at you. And then you had kind of a play a kind of a virtual game, so kind of like a kind of a Candy Crush kind of type of game. And then you experienced a Hollywood blockbuster, which was J.K. Rowling has a relationship now, strategic partnership with Google, and so you got to experience one of J.K. Rowling's books online. I mean, virtually, excuse me. So the headset itself is soft. It's not itchy. It's lightweight. It's also machine washable, I was told. And here we go again with the experience. So that's me sitting on the chair, and you can watch the experience afterwards. And so here's kind of the Pixel. So this was really interesting. I mean, there was so much media kind of hovered in these 2 little areas, all taking pictures. And as you can see, everyone's heads are down in front of their either devices or taking pictures or interviewing, because they were just so excited to see what the phone was all about. So we couldn't even get close to the phones because of this, so much excitement for this. So we had to wait an hour and a half to actually get our turn. And where we have here is Ronald, excuse me, it's Ronald. He is actually a product manager for the Pixel, and he was actually showing us how to use phones. So instead of the touch the touch screen part that's on the front of a phone, how the Pixel is, it's on the back. And if you shake the phone kind of left to right, you can actually make it go and get into selfie mode. So that's kind of what he was doing. He was kind of shaking it to show me that you can get into selfie mode. And then here, I love this scene. It was kind of funny. So see these people making these kind of weird, funny stances and positions. So these are actually the people who worked on the Made by Google product. So these are actual Googlers, and they were funny to watch because they were just hamming it up in front of the big screen, as you can see right here. And then here's us, of course, taking our picture. And the lady that's in the yellow, she was the one who invited us. So she is one of the product managers for the Made by Google event. And as you can see here, as we're winding down, you can see this is where the press, they're all trying to, type and get into their, type their thoughts and get their deadlines in and submit their posts from wherever they are working, wherever they are in the world. And that man that you see there, he actually was one of the presenters, and so he's actually being interviewed by the press at this moment, as you can see right there. And it was really cool too, because we actually got interviewed by NDTV or INTV. It was a channel for Indian television. So we got interviewed to kind of ask what our opinions were about what to expect for that event, for the event itself, while we were standing in line. So keep going.
I have a comment from Bill, Michael Thomas. I wonder if I could use that headset with my Android, since I almost have all the Pixel software downloaded on it.
No, can't do that. Unfortunately, no.
Okay, so either they have to have a special interface.
You either have to buy a Pixel, or you have to buy the future upcoming compatible Pixel phones from the other carriers. I mean, other smartphones companies.
Got it.
So Samsung, Samsung, LG, those companies.
Oh, so LG is going to have some compatible phones?
Mm-hmm.
And it's not something like the older LGs can adapt to a new software. It's got to be a special.
Yeah, it's got to be the new virtual reality phone. Yeah, it's the new phone. So it's not going to be compatible.
I think that would be an interesting subject to explore, virtual reality itself, because I know I've kind of been keeping up with the subject, and there's a lot of different interesting applications for virtual reality. For example, using it in the classroom for kids to go on a virtual field trip. I think, wow, that's pretty smart. I mean, it's interesting to watch technology evolve, because, something like what we're talking about, virtual reality, 15, 20 years ago, that was like in a science fiction movie, and now it's actually happening. So I really cool pictures and story about your event, Karen.
Yeah, so just to add to that part about virtual reality, so they had part of the demonstration, if you were watching the live stream, they called it sheep view. So, if you're out there in Ireland, or I don't know, in big pastures, they actually strapped the phones on sheep's heads. So you can get the feeling of the sheep walking through the field. They call it a sheep field, because we're laughing like, oh, that's kind of interesting, because it's like you get that kind of, wherever you are in the world, the quality of the virtual reality is that good that you feel like you're one of the sheep kind of hanging out there, walking up and down the rocky paths of Ireland, I guess. I mean, it was or Scotland. It was just wild to watch it. But yeah.
Well, folks, we are straight up on the hour, and I didn't want to just walk away from this. It's been a lot of fun, but I appreciate all the comments from the people. And something that I wanted to ask is, you watch us do these things with new products, new concepts. Is there anything that you can think of that you would like to know about associated with the type of things that we talk about, and or not associated with what we've been talking about? Because we've been talking about Google for almost a month now, but between that and Hangouts on Air and the change over to YouTube Live and everything else. So as we wrap up the year, we've only got a couple months left. I would like to know what subjects you would like us to go into at the end of the year and the start of 2017. Let's see what Alana Birmingham has to add in comments there. That looks awesome, Karen. And and I want to really thank Karen for the presentation that she made, and for the little mini tour of her experience. It was really very interesting. And until I realized that you have to have a special phone, in other words, pay $500, $600. I really wanted that Daydream viewer.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think the starting price of a Pixel is $649 in the States. So, and it can go up to close to about $1,000 if you want the one that's 128, gigs, versus I think the starter phone is like 32. So the big talk in the room was like, you got to go for the 128 because you just need that much power in this phone for what you plan to do with it. Especially if you want to shoot films, because they have a stabilizer with the Pixel now, so they actually showed one section of the presentation, you could actually hold your phone walking up and down the streets of San Francisco on hills, and it was very smooth versus it would be jarring in other phones.
Right. It makes me wonder what technology is coming down the pipe. And when we think about this, when I was a kid, we were looking at Dick Tracy in the comics, looking at his wristwatch telephone,
Mm-hmm.
and now we've got wristwatch video phones. And so, indeed, in our lifetime, we're going to see a lot of these things come about. I wonder what our kids are going to experience.
Well, think of it this way. Remember Star Trek, right? You had the flip their thing. Now it's basically phones, right? We just now to figure out how to basically transport ourselves. We go, right?
That talking to the computer, and all of a sudden the computer's talking to you.
Yeah. So no, the cool thing about this, Roland, was that this is the first time for Google that their products they're taking charge, and that they're not having to work with third parties. They're actually hardware and software are going to merge into one, and so that now they're going to be the ones in charge and having the experience. And Google itself is known for great customer experience. So I can only imagine what this is only the start. What 5 years from now, what their devices are going to be like in terms of, again, they're a data company. They get our data, they fine tune that data, they make their products better and better for what they get from us. So again, it's an amazing experience to be there, and it truly was historic when you think about what we saw that day.
Yeah, and Richard Clarkson has his own little bit to contribute for his insights. But how about GetSmart's shoe phone? And I think that would be a lot of fun, and maybe an improvement on the cone of silence. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Richard Clarkson. Bill has an added thing. Andrew Hatchett says $1,200 could buy you one of everything that they presented. I added it up. So that's not bad, to be on the cutting edge of technology and have a lot of fun gadgets and things that are going to step into the future, or at least are the stepping stones into the future for $1,200.
Well, that's why we were joking about it. We're calling it Pixelmas. So, for instead of Christmas, it's Pixelmas this year. So that if you are not part of a phone plan, or you can get out of that phone plan, and if you have the money saved up, it makes sense to buy. And I think from the reviews I've been reading, that the Pixel is going head to head now with the iPhone 7. So if you again are not wanting to buy an iPhone 7, the Pixel is probably your best bet to buy at this moment.
Wow.
2 quick takeaways before we end the Hangout. Number 1, focusing on mobile again. So I think, again, the importance of mobile, running your business, either from your mobile phone, and making sure your mobile campaign online is mobile friendly, because mobile's not going away. And number 2, marketing. Google is pre-marketing these products right at the right time of the year. In fact, next Wednesday at 1 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, Google will be broadcasting a live broadcast to small business owners on how they can learn how to market themselves and get more holiday sales. So I just wanted to quickly share that with you. If you'd like, I can share the link so our viewers who are watching today can watch the live broadcast, which I'm super excited about. I'm hosting an event, and I know they're going to be sharing some interesting statistics and strategies for business owners and how they can market their business during the Christmas season.
Yeah, I'm sure that that would be a well-liked link if you want to post that, Molly. And you know, it just goes to show us that it's exactly what we've been talking about. The mobile movement, video coming on strong, but let's not forget the website. And it's having a different essential meaning and importance, but it's definitely not going away. And so one last thing from Bill, Richard Clark. Oh, thank you, Richard. Great show today, and I approve this message. I love it. Thank you very much. With that, we're going to have to wrap up the Saturday morning Marketing Smarties for the 22nd of October. Thanks very much, everyone, for being there. I appreciate all the comments from everybody and your participation today. Thank you, Molly. Thank you, Karen. And thank you, Bill, from the Green Room. Good day, everybody.